Hi lovies, welcome back to today's video. If you guys can see, I'm in a little bit of a different filming setup. I'm not in my beauty room, I'm in my living room, so I'm sorry if it looks a little bit too open, not as intimate, but I have a cat son now, okay? His name is Arlo, and I have to keep an eye on him, and if I go in my beauty room, there's too much stuff that he can get into, and he cries all just the whole time when I try and leave him out. So we're in my living room today so that I can get you guys part 4 of Juice Wrld Into the Abyss. So I'm stressed out, guys. Juice Wrld Into the Abyss part 2 and part 3 were both permanently deleted and blocked by YouTube on this account, and I got a copyright strike. If you guys don't know, if you're not familiar with YouTube, if you get 3 copyright strikes, you're out. Your channel's deleted. I actually have a friend who just got his channel deleted because he reacted to the new unreleased Juice Wrld videos, and all of them got him copyright strikes. I'm gonna leave his channel down below. His name is Flint. We're actually working on a bit of a collab coming out to you guys within the next couple of weeks, so please go show his channel some love. I feel like I tell you guys all the time, Juice Wrld and X, their music is very heavily protected, and it's hard because I want to give you guys the videos that you want, but at the same time, at what cost, right? If the channel gets deleted, then you know what I mean? So I'm going to try and post part 4 on YouTube right here. If you guys are watching it on YouTube, please watch it as quickly as possible, because I promise you, if they copyright strike this or if they block it, it's not coming back. It'll be permanently blocked by YouTube. So hopefully you guys are seeing it on YouTube and not on Vimeo. Without further ado, guys, we are going to get into part 4, the last and final part of Juice Wrld Into the Abyss. Hopefully Arlo behaves himself. Say bye, Arlo. Say bye. Good job, baby. Let's get into it.
Shorty bad, slim, thick. She might drug, she might fix. And I'm all up in her mix. She be mixing with the wrist. She the
like it was.
Okay, see, now I can bite my words because this is what I was waiting for. 2 things, right? First, this part of Ally that I haven't seen, because so far all I've seen throughout this documentary is her feeding him drugs. That's all I've seen. So that's what I put my judgment off of, okay? This is the perspective I've been waiting for, of telling me something more than what I'm seeing. And what they all just said is Ally was very strict about cutting back on his lean, and I'm assuming that means she was strict about him trying to cut back on everything. And I think that's crazy. I don't know much about drugs and lean and all of that, okay? Besides, smoking a little marijuana, right? I don't know much about any of this though. But what it seems to be, tolerance obviously had grown to what I would imagine is a lethal or unhealthy amount. I don't know the effects of lean. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm assuming it's bad. If they're saying you could do 1 ounce of it in a 20-ounce bottle of soda, and he wanted to do 4 ounces in 1 Sprite, I think it's just a reflection of how bad his addiction was getting, because the longer you do drugs, right, the higher your tolerance increases. And so it takes more and more and more of that drug to get you to the same feeling that the small dosages used to do. And that's what makes them so incredibly dangerous, because it's like a never-ending cycle until eventually you overdose, you die. Which, unfortunately was the case here. But I think it's just so sad to see. And I guess, see, this is what makes me understand your guys' comments when you guys are talking about how there were so many people around him trying to help and he just didn't want to. I see it now. So far, up until this point, I haven't seen it, I haven't heard it. I've just seen the constant drug use. I've seen friends, you know, handing him drugs, this, that, and the other. But now I understand what you guys are saying when you say people were trying to help him. Okay. I see now. My eyes have been opened. Okay, y'all, I just have to put it, okay. For the people who, like me, are not so familiar with the terminology and the comparisons, if Juice was doing 20 Percocets a day, I don't want to ask what a normal amount was, but like for, say, a celebrity that was using Percocets to just have a good time, what would that be? Like 1, 2, 3? I'm curious to know the comparison, because obviously 20 is a high number of anything, but I want to know how much higher it was compared to peers that were, see, like, that, honestly, I can only imagine what it was like for everyone who was there that day. But like also especially Allie, and I know I feel like I go so back and forth, right? I feel like I drag her a lot just based off of, I guess, the opinions that I've gathered from others. But this is the first time I feel like I've seen her in this kind of light, and like for her to be just like the last person he called out for before he had a seizure is just so fucking traumatizing. I can only imagine like the person I love watching that, hearing that. That's like forever the last memory you have of them in your mind. Like I don't want to say it makes me understand the level of fucked up things that she's done after the fact, but at the same time it does, it kind of gives you like how would anybody grieve in that after something like that? No one really knows, you know what I mean? And it, like, I'm sure it takes you down a spiral that you never really saw yourself going down. And I guess I probably should judge her less, because that's something I don't think I could ever recover from, and clearly I don't think she ever has. Oh, and I remember in the first documentary I watched, not Into the Abyss, the other one I watched, and how, you know, all of like the speculation about how Juice took all of the pills and everything because they were getting raided, but then no, like, you know, then they talked about after that how there were so many drugs on that plane that Juice taking, you know, just like a huge amount wouldn't have affected anything. There were still so many on the plane. So that theory, gone, dead. I don't know. I think this right here, I know we've got about 15 minutes left, but this I feel like is giving a much more better representation of what happened that day compared to the first documentary, where this is like giving everyone's perspectives and less of like a general narration. So it's so wild, because I remember hearing this on the news over and over and over again. And for those of you guys who know, at the time I did not listen to Juice Wrld. I really didn't know much of who Juice Wrld was. I just remember hearing about this shit on the news, and it's just like, it boggles my mind, right? I live in the suburbs. I'm an hour. Chicago's like a 50-minute drive from me, right? I've flown in and out of Midway 1,000 times, O'Hare, tons of times. It's wild to me to think how close to home that was. And like now I can grasp it, now that I've been listening to his music and watching these documentaries and getting a better understanding of who he was. It's like, damn, like that shit happened an hour and a half away from here. And like, I think the saddest part is the fact that the police didn't seem to care. You know what I mean? And I know in that moment, I'm sure everything feels like it's going in slow motion, but like, cops were there to seize the drugs or what. As soon as someone is having a seizure, no matter who it is, like, isn't your first step to rush to them and make sure they're okay? Let alone blood coming out of his mouth. Like, it's just wild to me that the first thing they do is put everyone in handcuffs. Like, You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't quite make sense to me, that the first thing you do is you restrain everyone. And then as he's seizing, you say that he's gonna be okay. He's okay. No sense of urgency. I can only imagine if that was my future son, that was my brother, that was my partner. You know what I mean? Like, I could only imagine. And the fact that all of them have gotten to a place where they can speak so just, I don't want to say cordially about it, but they can speak very just collected and calm about it. I think it speaks volumes to their strength and like the amount of healing that they have probably endured since then, because I think I don't know if I would ever recover from something like that. And you can hear obviously the pain in their voice, and you can see the pain on their faces when they're remembering it. It's just so fucked up.
Report as federal agents